Everyone's always talking about the GT3, but you can actually get a high-performance flat 6-cylinder in a Boxster or a Cayman, which is a much lighter car compared to the 911. I'll include a link to the Land Rover and Lehigh's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this Boxster. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. We do have a front storage space, which definitely adds to the practicality of the Boxster as more of a daily driver type deal. Something that I love about Porsches is everything's very lightweight. Like, you can just feel the hood. Again, this isn't like a GT3 or anything crazy, but still lightweight. We are closing in on 500,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now, this red is one of the colors I think of when I think of Porsche. I also think of the yellow as well, but you can see Porsche emblem there in the center. The overall shape of the lighting cluster hasn't changed all that much with the Cayman and the Boxster over the years, but obviously the lights that are within the cluster have changed. They're a lot more advanced nowadays. And then the lower section is very similar to the 911, but still distinctly different. And to the untrained eye, it's just a Porsche sports car. Tire and wheel setup up front is 235 by 35 by 20. In the rear, it is 265 by 35 by 20. You probably noticed the wheels are blacked out to kind of go with the theme on this. You also have the red brake caliper. GTS 4.0 decal there on the side, and then stuff like the mirror caps are painted to match. And you gotta love that on the side. Now, I'm definitely a Cayman person myself. I don't really care about convertibles, but you know, for a convertible with the top up, it doesn't look too bad. When it comes to key fob features, we've got our lock and unlock function, the opening for the front trunk and then for the rear trunk, and of course it looks like a little car. Speaking of the rear trunk, open it up, and again, it's not massive. This is a sports car, but it adds to the practicality. Smoked out taillights with the GTS model. You've got your 718 GTS badging there, and then let's get you guys a little exhaust note. I did quickly lower down the top so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. Like most convertibles, it definitely looks better with the top down. This week's giveaway makes my Jeep look lame because it is a supercharged Rubicon 392 that is fully decked out, producing 650 horsepower. Now, not only can you win this Rubicon 392, but part of the giveaway is also $26,000 in cash to help pay for the taxes. And not only that, your donations go towards helping children's and veterans charities. So use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. Any donation, $25 or more, will give you 4x bonus entries. Let's now check out the interior. You've got nice leather trim all over the door panel. There is this kind of cool trim piece there too. And of course, this comes with stuff like memory seats. You get your window controls too. The mirrors power fold in. And then you've got nice leather seats, which have a billion adjustments because Porsche likes giving adjustability there. And then we've got those little buttons to open up the front trunk and the rear trunk. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to raise the top back up because, you know, I don't exactly like the sun just burning my forehead. I got like 5 acres of real estate up there, so it's a lot for the sun to burn. Anywho, you guys can see we've got that to turn on the car and then the light control right next to it. The steering wheel has nice trim all around. Paddle shifters there in the back. You've got this cool thing to dial to change the drive modes on the steering wheel. But yeah, they don't have too many controls on it, which is nice. They do have all the stocks in the back for the cruise and everything. One thing I definitely like about the Boxster that came in over the 911 is they still have analog gauges, at least this one. This is a 2025, so relatively new. But yeah, I mean, you do have that digital screen off to the side, but analog just looks better, especially in a Porsche. We do have more fancy trim on the dash here. You can see the Sport Chrono there. And yeah, it goes across. And then this still had the, I forgot about that. The Boxster and the Cayman still had the over-engineered cup holders that the 911 got rid of. Like, there's so many things that this has that are just iconic Porsche that they're getting rid of, sadly. Backup camera in reverse. Pretty good resolution. Now, this is of course not Porsche's newest infotainment system, but I mean, it's still, it gets the job done. It's a sports car. You just need music and that's all. Below that, tons of physical controls, and they all have like a nice tactile feel to them, and the climate controls just below that. And then like the heated and cooled seats, just, I don't know, it feels like an experience to press it. Speaking of experience, obviously the manual would have been cooler, but this, when it comes to tactile feel, I mean, it's just fantastic. We've got adjustment for the suspension, stability control. Sorry about the lighting with this shot, but you can also raise and lower the little spoiler, and then this is for the exhaust. Ooh, we didn't have that open. Oh, that does make a bit of a difference. Wow. Anyways, center console. Got phone charging bed, which is nice to have. Nice trim there. I already showed you guys the cup holders. And then the top here is decently insulated. Now this one is pre-owned with about 1,100 miles, and it is selling for just under $120,000. It just goes to show you how much demand there is for flat 6 cylinders in Porsches, especially NA flat 6 cylinders. But let's see how it performs. 4.0. I'm gonna have some strong open onions in today's video, because, you know, I kind of see the shift that's happening with Porsche as I've reviewed their cars. And, you know, are they still going to sell? Yes, but they're also going to have significant problems in terms of getting new customers. And I'm saying this as someone who is younger, right? I'm not that young. I'm 28 years old, but I mean, for someone who is, I guess, in the car world, that's actually pretty young, because most people that are looking into new cars and everything, the average age I think is like close to 40 or something like that. So my mental thoughts are the future of what buyers are going to want in the car world, and let me tell you, this is closer. This is closer. So talk about it towards the end. Oh, so beautiful. You got the flat 6. It's got a pretty, I mean, the red line looks like it's around 8,000 RPMs. Pretty high red line. Pretty darn high. It's not as high as like a GT3, but man, it has that immediate response that flat 6s are known for, and it's smooth, and it just keeps building power. Like, the peak power is pretty high up in the RPM range, and you feel it, and it's fun. We're gonna just pop this into Sport Plus. Pop it into manual too. Now the PDK is obviously super quick, razor sharp. The manual, right, it's more engaging, it's more exciting. And that's the first thing I'll mention, is that, you know, young people, some of them don't know how to drive manuals, but everyone kind of agrees that, like, in a sports car, it should have a manual. Yeah, you get that signature flat 6 sound. Oh, it's so beautiful. And this thing, of course, you know, you're gonna get some road noise. It's gonna be louder than the Cayman because of the soft top. You know, you get a little bit of wind noise at higher speeds, but that's kind of what you get with a sports car, right? It's not a luxury car. It's more luxe because it's Porsche, but yeah, not a luxury car. Handles like a dream, completely flat, like no body roll. And you got that mid-engine balance. I mean, it just feels wonderful. The steering's great too. Man, that transmission's so razor sharp. One thing I will mention though is Porsche, it seems like they built their cars for the racetrack only. The gears are pretty long, so you can't really use that many of them on road unless you're going ridiculously high speeds, you know? So that is something to note. That's cool, it still lets you, interesting. Yeah, it should go into first there, that we're slow enough. Yeah, build quality is fantastic. It's one thing I do like about Porsches too, is the build quality is something to be admired. Okay, first gear. Oh yeah. Such a good sound. Such a good sound. Power is smooth. Such a good car. So, I will claim representation for most of the younger people, not all of them. Now I understand there's a lot of young people, they just don't care about cars. They basically just want an appliance that gets them from A to B. And there's actually a lot of people that are like that. But the type of person that's gonna buy a car like this is a car enthusiast. And car enthusiasts want one thing and one thing only, and that is naturally aspirated engines. Now some people are getting the turbos to do crazy power and everything, but the thing that's funny is, I see this happen all the time, is someone will get a turbo car, crazy power, right? And then they go experience that, and then you know what almost always ends up happening is they end up getting a much lower horsepower car down the road because they want to actually be able to drive the car and have fun, especially like legally. So NA engines, and they don't need to have crazy power. Like, the thing that Porsche ought to be doing is just making the cars better over time, like, you know, improving the build quality where they can, improving the handling where they can. And you know, they do all this stuff. but also maintaining the powertrain. Now, a big part of why the flat sixes are so limited with Porsche is not because of the US, it's because of Europe. Europe has stricter and stricter emissions regulations, and so it's making it harder and harder to sell stuff like this. But that's not the case in the US, and so Porsche is probably gonna have to, in the US is such a big market, especially for Porsche, they're probably gonna have to split and basically just start to build cars with engines just for the US market. Like here in the US, Porsche does not need to sell the 4-cylinder 718 and Cayman. Like they just don't need to exist. All they need to sell here in the US is flat 6 cylinders with all the cars. And frankly, if Porsche literally just built like 911s with, if they just did like a 911 GTS with the do they do that? I don't review Porsches enough to know, like, because there's 50 million 911s. But if they did a 911 that was like not the touring, so like that, the touring, right, is the GT3 without the crazy aero stuff. But if they did just like below that, like what this is, like a GTS 4.0, and if they just sold those, and then the tourings, and then the GT3s, like they would sell just as many cars as they're selling now, and they'd make more money. So the point that like what I'm finishing with, young people want the young people that are car enthusiasts want NA engines, and the people that are, you know, the older generations that can actually afford these, they also want the NA engines, because it's like a throwback for them. Nobody wants the turbo engines, nobody wants the smaller engines. So if Porsche keeps going down the route they're going towards electrification, more turbos, smaller engines, they'll still sell cars because it's Porsche. But I do think that once the older demographic, sorry to be grim here, but once the older demographic is no longer with us, I think that they're gonna lose a ton of customers. Because like, I have no interest in the new Cayenne or the Macan. I have no interest in a 4-cylinder Boxster or Cayman. I have no interest in a turbo, you know, the 911 turbo, that's different. But like a turbo Carrera, nah, you can keep it. And also the prices. I mean, these Porsche prices are crazy. The resale's great, right? This car's got amazing resale. But that's the other thing that Porsche needs to understand, is they should probably simplify their cars a little bit so that the prices are lower, because they have priced themselves out of the market for a lot of people. They're selling out of their sports cars, so it's like they don't really care. But like I said, I think that it's only a matter of time before the very wealthy older customers, like I said, are no longer with us, and then they're probably going to be scrambling because they won't be able to, like a young person, even if they have the money, I don't want all this. I just want like a super simplistic, basic sports car with all the performance. That's what young people want, and they want it with off-road stuff too. But let me know your thoughts.